You betcha, I'm George, and welcome to my Half-Life Alyx review. Now, today we're going to be going over what I thought about Half-Life Alyx. I just completed my complete walkthrough, so you can go check that out in the top up here somewhere. Quick disclaimer, I've actually not played the original Half-Life 1 and 2, but I will try to give you an unbiased review on the actual gameplay and story of Half-Life Alyx. So let's hop right into it. Now, first we're going to talk about the graphics of Half-Life Alyx. Half-Life Alyx really set a new standard of graphics in VR games. Just the whole world that they built. It's honestly the best in VR there is right now, and it makes you feel really immersed into their environment and feels like you're really there in the game. So it's just a really cool experience to see in itself and feel. Next, we're going to talk about the gun mechanics. There's 3 different types of guns that you can get in VR. There is no melee weapons, and all 3 guns are highly upgradable. There's a pistol that you can upgrade and get sights on, a shotgun that you can get your grenade launcher on, and an automatic weapon. All 3 guns are pretty cool and unique, and they're fun to use in the game, and mechanics work pretty well. The only problems I had with it was maybe the shotgun. Like, you couldn't flick it closed sometime. You had that kind of just whip your hand until it closed, but otherwise they're pretty cool and fun to use. Now, the puzzles in Half-Life Alyx VR they're actually pretty fun. They're 3D puzzles, so they fully use the VR space where you take stuff, turn it over, manipulate stuff with your multi-tool, and you go in stuff, do like electrician work, turn wires, like see stuff through walls. They're all very fun, and they increased in difficulty as you went farther in the game, which was a good idea to implement in the game, I think. Next, we're going to talk about the physics of the game. Now, before this, Boneworks was the top dog in physics games, and it's debatable if they still are. So the thing about Half-Life Alyx is they didn't put almost everything in the physics, but they also built a whole world where they can't put everything in the physics. Now, Boneworks put everything in the physics, but their graphics and stuff isn't on par with Half-Life Alyx. So even though Half-Life Alyx may not have made everything physics pushable, they built the whole world and have graphics that surpass Boneworks, so I think they win physics. And one other thing that, or actually 2 other things that why I think physics are better in Half-Life Alyx is, one is your gravity gloves that you get. You can literally just point at anything, and with a flick of the wrist you can bring it to you, and then you have to grab it there and there, which is just awesome compared to just gripping and force pulling it to you like Boneworks. That's honestly one of my favorite things about Half-Life Alyx is your gravity gloves. They're so cool. And even at the end of the game, you get to do something even cooler with them, but I won't spoil that for anybody that's going to play the game. And the one other physics thing that I think is so cool about Half-Life Alyx is the throwing. I know Boneworks, the throwing in that game, I would try throw and it would just drop right in front of me. I don't know if it's maybe because I thought maybe it's because I was using the Oculus Quest and the tracking and whatnot, but in Half-Life Alyx they did a great job. Even with Oculus Quest and just inside-out tracking, I can throw and almost perfectly hit my spot. Next, we're going to talk about some of the enemies in Half-Life Alyx. First, we're going to start with Headcrabs. Headcrabs are one of the, say, most creepiest or spine-tinglingest enemies that are out there, just because they jump straight at your face. But I actually didn't think they were that bad, because they may look scary, but especially compared to Boneworks again, they're helmet crabs, which is based off of the Headcrabs from Half-Life. The helmet crabs, they jump at you without any warning, and they make this terrible sound. But head crabs in this game, they rear up before they jump at you, which is so nice, so you actually have time to move out of the way or get something to block them. And they don't jump as often too, so I really liked head crabs in this game. I like that they take over zombies too, and the zombies that you fight. One of my other favorite enemies in this game was the Barnacles. They'd come down, and they were kind of like a puzzle too, because they'd pick up stuff, bring it in its mouth, and you have to kill them, and they can drop stuff. So they were kind of fun to interact with. And you can throw explosives. I like throwing explosives in them, and then they eat it and blow up. Another enemy was the ant lions. They were these creatures with long legs, and like some of them would spit at you, and they had a tail that you could shoot and they explode. They were pretty easy to kill. They were harmless. Yeah, they were pretty easy enemies, but it was nice that they added them, I think, because they're kind of creepy too at the same time. The hardest enemies, I would say, though, was the Combine, because they would take the most damage from you, just because they can shoot you from a distance. And some of them had a lot of health, like shotguns, shields, machine guns. and grenades. So, and the drones, where someone would deploy drones, which were hard to kill, but they were still a good challenge. I think they really balanced the challenge well, because they give you a lot of health in the game and a decent amount of ammo too, so that's nice. And the other thing, upgrading your guns, they give you resin, which you have to find resin around the map. So they actually put like resin kind of everywhere, just so you actually look everywhere and you can keep finding it, which I think was a good idea, because I know Boneworks, they didn't actually hide everything anywhere, or there's lots of spots where they could have hid more stuff. So I really liked Half-Life Alyx put that attention to detail and go into every spot to make sure you actually play and search the game fully, which is a good idea, I think. Now we're going to talk about one of the best enemies of the game, which is really cool that they implemented this in the level. His name is Jeff, and if you haven't seen a walkthrough or playthrough of him, he basically is deaf, or no, he's blind, and he goes off of hearing, so if you make a noise, he goes to that spot. And I never got killed by him, so I don't know if there's an animation where he kills you in one hit, or that's assumed kind of what would have happened. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things you got to distract him and then go do all this stuff. So, and I really like that enemy in that aspect of the game. It was kind of a horror vibe because you were helpless, you know. Now we're gonna talk about the pros and cons of the game to kind of wrap it up. I really like the voice actors of the game, especially. I'll put them up over here so you can see him, who it is. But they did a really good job of really getting the character and making me feel like that's the real person that's talking, that's coming out of the player's mouth. And the dialogue that they wrote for them to say, I think they did a really good job. They were right on par with that too. It's kind of quirky, funny, fit in the universe really well. I'm going to say a little bit about the end of the game. I'm not going to try to give any spoilers, but so the ending had a really good ending, had a little bit of a twist. I really liked it. They hint, since there's only guns in this game and you can't really melee, they hinted towards meleeing next game, so I'm really excited to see what they bring to the game with that, because earlier in the game I was trying to use a pipe and hitting a Headcrab zombie and it wouldn't do any damage, but I'm really excited if they implement that next game. The only con I'm really going to say about this game is the middle kind of seemed like it was a little bit dragged out, because it kept seeming like I was going along for a while, but I'm glad, because at the end I wanted the game to keep going. But I'm glad for $60 they give you a little more content, so it's a give or take. Now that I've given you almost my full review on the game, I totally recommend this game. This is the best VR game out there right now, definitely at the top. Maybe Asgard's Wrath was up there right now. I'm thinking about making a walkthrough in my next videos, but this is definitely a top game out there right now. So if you have a VR headset, you need a PC to run this. So if you have a Quest, I'd get an Oculus Link, but you also need a PC to run it. And if you do, you're gonna have a lot of fun. But I'm sorry if you don't have it, but hopefully one day you'll be able to play this, because it's a lot of fun. Anyways, that's my full review on Half-Life Alyx VR, and I've had so much fun playing the games. Hope you guys will go check out my walkthrough if you haven't already, and yeah, I hope you guys have a lot of fun if you haven't played the game already either. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I've been George. Peace out.